This is a few days old, but because there were so many other topics that pop up intermittently throughout the days, it's difficult to really pinpoint when I decide to make videos about certain things. This is one of those topics that was just kind of sliding down and down the totem pole as more ideas and more conversations started to happen. So I apologize if anybody is saying, hey, Lego, this was from a few days ago, why did you not talk about it then? It's because I don't want to talk about everything under the sun in the day because I have to pace myself. I'm in the selfish and kind of necessary act of self-preservation here on YouTube, as this is my full-time job. But either way, we're heading over to a Nick Kypreos article. And I know a lot of people might be going out there and saying right off the hop, hey, Nick Kypreos? I mean, what does he have to do with this? This is a Toronto reporter going out there and talking about Vancouver things. Yeah, I know, but he's still an NHL insider that has broken a few things in the past, so we're going over to his recent article published on the Toronto Star. Nick Kypreos, why the Canucks Bruce Boudreau fiasco is a symptom of a bigger problem for the NHL. It is, as the title implies, an opinion piece, and if you want to go out there and read it, it's going to be linked in the description if you want to see that yourself, but somewhere in the depths of this article, after talking about Bruce Boudreau and everything going on over there, towards the end of the Canucks conversation, Kipper's Corner part, this is what Kipper writes about when it comes to Bo Horvat. Hearing that the Stars and Devils are among the teams that may be the most aggressive for Canucks captain Bo. Both organizations want an extended playoff run, and they seem willing to pay for it. And so today I wanted to talk about both of these teams, Dallas and New Jersey, and how a Bo Horvat trade could look for either side, why each team would want to do this, and what the fan reception I've seen has been for these two ideas. As always, the comment section is your floor, so if you're a fan of the Stars or the Devils, then feel free to let me know your opinions. But both of these fan bases, upon me looking at their responses to this Horvat trade idea, both of them seem to have the same instinctual reaction. Wait a minute, it's Kypreos. But aside from that, there were questions on either side as to why a team like Dallas or why a team like New Jersey would want to do this. For Dallas, it's a conversation about cap space. It's, hey, would you really want to go out there and get a guy like Bo Horvat, whose price is going to be so expensive, when you don't necessarily have the security that he's going to be able to re-sign on a team like Dallas in general? Sure, in theory, it makes sense to kind of transition out of Seguin, have Hintz in the mix as well, while Bo Horvat is in the stopgap position until Wyatt Johnston becomes as good as he could be. In theory, it makes sense from a center management point of view heading into the next few years, but a guy like Bo Horvat is not guaranteed to stick around. This is a problem for a team like Dallas, who might be trying to go out there and maybe get some value for their assets beyond this season, because if the Vancouver Canucks are adamant on that trade price that we had talked about the other day, a first-round pick plus a young center plus a young defenseman, then I'm probably thinking a guy like Thomas Harley is heading over to Vancouver. If you look at the Dallas Stars organization, let's go ahead and do that. Dallas Stars, and we'll look at in the system here from Elite Prospects, because I think they always do the best job at doing this stuff. Oh, baby. Give me Logan Stankoven, baby. I want that guy out of the Dallas Stars system. But I know a lot of Stars fans probably are going to click off this video, dislike, troll, and everything that I tell you to do at the end of the videos every single time in my outro, because I just said that. But there also are some other names that I do see very interesting sort of potential within. Obviously, there's Wyatt Johnston we had just talked about. Ty Dellandrea is here as well. There also are some good defensive prospects that the Stars do have. Nils Lundkvist is a guy that isn't technically a prospect, but, I mean, the Canucks were kind of linked to him earlier in last year's JT Miller trade fiasco thing, too, so yeah, I know he's been playing very well, so I kind of have a tear scrolling down my face right now as I say this, but aside from that, it's really Thomas Harley and just a few other guys here that stand out to me. Leon Bichel, Christian Kyrou, they both could become something. I feel like for Christian Kyrou, he's the guy that I want to expand on more because he has such a high offensive ceiling, but not too much of everything else. But just in general, I don't really know if the Dallas Stars have the assets aside Harley and maybe a Johnson that the Canucks would be looking for in a Bo Horvat trade. And if you're trading away these guys from the Dallas point of view, it's not really aligning with how you can build your team in the long term unless you are adamant that you can sign a guy like Bo to an extension past 22-23. So, if you're a Dallas Stars fan, let me know in the comments your thoughts about the idea of Bo Horvat heading over to your team. But now I want to talk about New Jersey, because this is the more interesting conversation of the bunch. We had heard from other NHL insiders that are not Nick Kypreos that, according to other sources, the Devils might be more interested in a guy like Timo Meier instead of a guy like Bo. Now, this makes a lot more sense in my mind, because if you want long-term, sustainable goal scoring on the wing, trading away a guy like Holtz to San Jose to be reunited with his best friend Eklund in exchange for a guy like Meier is a lot more feasible. It makes more sense to me that the Devils would be expanding on the wings rather than on center with Bo, because y'all already got Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier. Like, what do you need a guy like Bo Horvat for? Do you really want one of these three guys playing third-line minutes? That doesn't really sound like a sustainable plan for getting any of them to succeed long-term. If you want to re-sign Bo, then telling him to play behind Hughes and Hischier may not be the best move in getting him to agree to do so. And so, this is a really intriguing piece of analysis done by Kypreos to acknowledge that New Jersey is a very aggressive contender for a guy like Bo, and it opens the door even more to the conversation as to what the heck the Canucks could get in return. Now, because of the trade idea that we had talked about a few days ago, because of what was said by LeBrun, that the Canucks want a young center, a young D, and a first, a lot of Canucks fans were kind of memeing around, and I say memeing because they were memeing. They do not think this is going to happen. New Jersey fans, I know y'all are in there trying to call out the Canucks fan base for saying ridiculous things like this, but I assure you 100% we're memeing. Canucks fans were saying, okay, so it's going to be Bo Horvat for Jack Hughes, Luke Hughes, and a first. Reunite the Hugheses in Vancouver, make Quinn happy, and bring the Stanley Cup home, baby. And I know that's not going to happen. Canucks fans are literally just memeing. Calm down. But overall, the Devils have so many good defensive prospects that I do feel like if the Canucks wanted one of these guys, like a Mukhamadullin, or maybe not a Nemec, they're not going to trade away that guy. He is still brand new. There are a few really nice defensive prospects in that Devils system. Seamus Casey is the one that pops in my mind right away, but of course, if it's like Horvat for Casey, that's not going to go through on the Canucks end. There has to be a little bit more meat on the bone there. And so, if you are a Vancouver Canucks fan, I want you to tell me in the comments who has a better, let's just say younger core of players that you would be more intrigued in nabbing one from. The Dallas Stars or the New Jersey Devils. I'm leaning towards New Jersey, but at the same time, there is the very similar antithesis that says, hey, I don't think the Devils should be making a trade for a guy like Horvat. Get Garland instead, get Besser, get a winger, get somebody that can help you out there, and give the Canucks Alexander Holtz. Okay, no, the Canucks are not going to get Holtz. I mean, Holtz, like Karamaki and Pettersson would be really cool. Have a new Swedish king line out there, but either way, this is apparently the scoop from Kypreos. I know it's a few days old. If Bo Horvat ends up getting traded sometime this morning, because this video is being recorded Saturday night and we're in the spot, don't believe me, just watch, then hey, I'm going to pull my hair out and make another video, revamp the title and description of this one, saying that I was wrong. But if there is no Bo Horvat trade, then I can just leave this one as it is. But either way, if you are a Devils, a Stars, or a Canucks fan, let me know in the comments your thoughts about Bo Horvat trade ideas to each of these two teams. New Jersey, Dallas, what do they give up? Do they have a package that sort of aligns with the Canucks' ask of a center, a D, and a first-round pick? Do you think that package price should even be upheld because the Canucks re-signed Andrei Kuzmenko the other day, thus pretty much confirming they're not going to be bringing Bo back? If you're a Canucks fan, what do you want from any of these teams if it is Bo going the other way? But let me know in the comments your thoughts either way, what your opinions are on these aspects. I hope you enjoyed this Juraj 99, and bye.